This is Wednesday Web Chat. I am Carl Lewis, your host, and welcome to another installment of Wednesday Web Chat. Our goal is to make SAP Business One users around the world well-educated, well-informed about everything SAP Business One from wherever you are. Special welcome to our friends here in Canada. Today I'm coming to you live from Vancouver, BC, normally in Portland, Oregon, and always a welcome to my friends in the United States and especially across the ocean in the United Kingdom. Looking forward to meeting all of you later this year at the SAP Business One Summit held in Miami, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Today, our special guest, whom I'm going to turn controls over to in just a few minutes, is Rick Pettigo, Vice President North American Sales for Solver BI 360.
Well, thank you very much, Carl, and thank you, everyone, for attending. My name is Rick Pettigo. I'm VP of Sales for Solver. And today I'll be presenting our Self-Service Business Intelligence Suite, BI 360. Self-service is a very significant part of our particular product suite offering in that it is a system that is built by accountants for accountants. And as we go through, hopefully you will see that this is a product that can be used by people in finance and accounting and operations without the required support of IT. So normally when a prospect approaches Solver, they are looking for a replacement to an existing system, and generally that is because they are not getting the information out of their systems that they need to run the company effectively. And they, many cases, want to not only get information out of the ERP, the SAP B1 system, but also from other data sources, being able to have an enterprise-wide view and ability to report, forecast, and budget on a wide variety of data sources. We also pay very close attention to the market. We are, for those of you who are aware of Gartner and Gartner's Magic Quadrant, we have been included for the third year in a row in Gartner's Magic Quadrant on corporate performance management. This goes beyond business intelligence in that it requires a complete suite of products